everyone, it's Sharona from Pay Your Weight, and today I'm going to be reviewing Killing Eve, Season 3, Episode 3, Meetings Have Biscuits. So, I don't know who I want to talk about first, because Villanelle was just so much with this tuning fork. I guess we could talk about how the episode opens up. Villanelle, she's trying to tune the piano, and then she's talking to the woman. She was like, hey, like, I think this piano is off. And then she was like, did you check your hands? And I was like, ooh, girl, don't say that to her. You know that girl crazy? You probably don't know that girl crazy. But still, don't say that to her. Did you check your hands? She was like, be careful. Treat the piano with respect since it costs a lot of money. I said, Lord, she finna die. I said, she finna die, isn't she? Yes, she's finna die. So my girl had to tune the fork in her hand. So then the girl goes to go do some other stuff on the computer. And then she takes a tuning fork, literally throws the tuning fork at her like a dart, and then hits her in the back of the head, and the girl died. I said, Lord, I didn't even know you could do all of that with a tuning fork in the first place, but now you just got me side-eyeing tuning forks forever. But, you know, leave it up to Villanelle to give us a very ironic and just out-of-the-box type of kill. You have to appreciate the craft to a certain extent. However, after she hits her in the head or throws a tuning fork in her head, she hears a baby crying through the baby monitor. So she's walking with the tuning fork, and I was like, Villanelle, it is not that serious to go kill this baby right now. What are you doing, girl? So we see that the nanny is with her, and then the nanny sees her in the mirror. So she looking at her. She turned around shook. Villanelle looking at her like, what you looking at me for? I'm looking like, please don't kill this baby. Please don't kill the baby, Villanelle. So we see that the lady trying to tell her, like, no. Like, she kept turning the tuning fork to the baby. And then the lady be like, no, no. And then she turned it back to her. And then she literally threw the tuning fork again, hit the lady in the head. And I was like, please don't kill this baby. Don't kill the baby. Just don't kill the baby. Then she takes the baby. I was like, girl, you should have just left the baby. Why you take the baby with you? So we see that Villanelle is kind of... she's going through, I want to say, like a midlife crisis at this point, all caused by the fact of the information that Constantine gave her at the ending of last week's episode, that Eve is actually alive. She actually did not kill her. And so now she's sitting at brunch with the baby, Dasha. Dasha looking at her like, girl, what is this baby doing here in the first place? What are you doing? Like, this is the total opposite of what you should be doing, given that you literally killed your, like, trainee. You killed him. So you don't think you should be doing things to get in the better graces of the 12, but instead you're just doing extra stuff to keep alienating yourself, keep creating more messier messes. And she just like, how you trying to be a handler and you keep doing all of this stuff? You need to get your head in the game and get back in there and stop doing all this nonsense. But why did Dasha take the baby and put the baby in the trash can in broad daylight? I was like, so Dasha, like, did nobody see you put the baby in the trash can? We just put babies in the trash can? And what made it even more hilarious in that scene is the fact that you could hear the commotion in the background as people find this baby crying in the trash can, like, literally causing a huge commotion, and they just having this normal conversation like, oh yeah, she put the baby in the trash can. Villanelle thought it was absolutely hysterical, but at least we know towards the end of the episode that the baby ended up actually getting back into the hands of her father. So I was like, at least the baby had like some type of parent that was left after Villanelle killed everybody with a dang on tuning fork. But we see that Villanelle is trying to figure out her past, and after a hilarious moment where Villanelle sneaks into Constantine's bed and gives him literally a heart attack. I know his nerves is bad dealing with her. I know he probably like, girl, sometimes I like you, but most of the time I would just wish you would just go away. But she asked him, like, you know, what do I look like as a baby? Did you know my parents? He was like, well, I saw a picture of you. And he was like, you were an ugly child. And I was just like, sir, didn't we have to say all of that? But she tells him that she wants him to track down her family. She wants to know where she came from. And she says that knowledge is power. And so we keep seeing this overall theme of power as she gets the assignment from Dasha that she has to go to London to take care of someone, even though she tries to tell her that she's not ready at first, because really she's not ready to be in London where Eve is. And so we see that she goes to this perfume shop, and she says, I want to smell like, I want to smell victorious. I want to smell powerful. And I was like, girl, you said you really getting your own fragrance made to go see Eve so she could smell it. I was just like, can y'all sell it? Can y'all make some Killing Eve like perfume? Because I want to smell like power. Like the way that she gave that speech, I was like, you know what, Villanelle, I felt that. I was like, go ahead and turn this into a conversation, because now I need to know what you smell like. What did the perfume smell like? they should just call it Power. Power Eve. Okay, never mind. I digress. But at first I thought that she was in there to kill Eve, but I was like, no, that's too soon. It's too soon. Like, are we gonna really see them? Like, are we gonna see them together? I don't know, but we're gonna table that for a moment, and then we're gonna actually talk about Carolyn. So Carolyn, Eve, and now Kenny's boss Paul, or ex-boss Paul, they are investigating Kenny's death. So we see that Carolyn is in the bathtub because she says she gets her best ideas in the tub. And I was like, you know what, Carolyn, I feel you. I get my best ideas somewhere else, but I'm not going to say that because you guys are going to think I'm gross. And my friend thinks it's really weird that I call her during this time, because it's when I think of her, because I have the time and the energy to really, you know what, that has nothing to do with this. Okay, so we see that she's in the bathtub. Mo is sitting up here debriefing her, just totally uncomfortable at the same time. But also, too, we see that Eve comes in and she was just like, what is happening right now? And then Paul comes and she closes the door like, no, wait a minute, wait. And so we see that Carolyn and Paul, they're butting heads. They're not getting along with one another. Because Carolyn's like, why did you have to bring him into this? Like, how is he supposed to be a help to us? And Paul doesn't want to work with her either. And he's mad because he was like, most meetings have biscuits. And I did find it ironic that in most of the other meetings that do take place throughout the rest of the episode, that they do have some type of food involved. Mo's like eating a bagel. Eve and Dasha, they had food. They were having brunch at the same time. So I thought it was ironic that Paul was like, you could have at least gave me some food. You had me coming all up here early in the morning. I don't know if it was early in the morning, but I'm just saying you could have had some food. I was like, Paul, I feel you. I'm with you. Like, we're one. We're here. So they basically have their own things that they have to go and investigate to try to figure out, you know, where did these accounts come from? We see that Eve finds the accounts and she works with one of Kenny's old co-workers to try to figure out, you know, who is behind it. We know that somebody is taking money out of one of these accounts. They took over 6 million euros. But then we see that Carolyn's going on a date. I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's never too late to get back out there. But I was like, your son just died. It's just the right time. But we find out that she really hasn't been stood up as we thought she did. She was meeting someone for a date. She was really eyeing her angle, which is a man by the name of Charles, who we see that met with Constantine earlier in the episode, where he tells him, someone's been smuggling this money out. I need $6 million in order to kind of cover this up. You know, the 12 will come get me. So I need you to help me out. But we see that she is angling him because they know that he is attached to one of these accounts, since Eve had to go to Mo to have him track all of this down for them. So Eve ends up being with Paul for the episode, and they're trying to figure all of this stuff out. And then we see that Mo and Carolyn end up going on a stakeout with one another. They run into Charles. However, we see that they end up picking up Charles in the car, but there was someone that was dressed as a policeman that was like behind them as well, which turns out to be Villanelle. She pops up, and then she goes and then she like pulls the gun out, and then she shoots. And I was like, oh my gosh, she shot Carolyn. But Carolyn went like this. So I was like, no, she didn't get him. She got Charles. But it was actually, Villanelle was hired and sent to London to actually end up killing Charles, not Carolyn, as Eve thought in the episode. But the biggest moment of the entire episode is when we see that Eve had just left to go visit Nico, where she finds out that Nico has been discharged. Nico is still not responding to any of her text messages. She doesn't really know where he is. They kind of give her a hint at the rehab center, but it's obvious that Nico wants nothing to do with Eve at this time. So she's on the bus as she's texting him, and literally my girl Villanelle just pops up on a bus like, what's good? She just like, hey. And I was like, girl, like, that's what you did? But can I get a side note that she was looking very fly in that suit? I was like, yes, girl, you better slay for your boot thing. But, you know, that whole greeting just only lasted for a few moments before Eve lost her ish and basically started fighting Villanelle on the bus. So they fighting on the bus. Everybody looking like, what is going on? I'm looking like, y'all just doing this in broad daylight. Like, Villanelle, you just popped up on the bus like this. Just, it's whatever. So then we see Villanelle kisses her. Then I was like, ooh, is she gonna kiss her back? But then Eve headbutts her. They keep fighting. And then essentially she tells her like, hey, I'm not here for you. which lets us know that she's here for another target, which is why Eve thought that she was here to kill Carolyn. But then we see that she ends up getting off of the bus, and then she's just staring there like smiling, but Eve just looking so disturbed. And I was just like, that's not how I thought their first meeting was going to go. But can I say that it was pretty dang on entertaining? But even more so, the fact that she went to this teddy bear store. She went to this toy store and literally said that they're sociopaths. And I was like, girl, what are you? Like, what are you, girl? And so we see that she's trying to record this message for Eve, talking about, I should have shot you in the head. And I was like, girl, I don't think that's what you're trying to say. But then she says, like, I think about you all the time. And I was like, yeah, I think that's probably better than I should have shot you in the head. But we see that when Eve gets home, because it's been a long day for her, she lays down and then she hears Villanelle's voice. Villanelle broke into this girl house already and basically just left the teddy bear, where the teddy bear basically whispers to her, admitted, you wish I was here. And I was just like, Kenny told you to start locking your door, girl. I don't know why you weren't locking your door, especially after you knew that Villanelle was alive. Mo tried to tell you, like, you need to have protection, but she wasn't worried about it. So I don't know what's going to happen at this point. But we do find out that Constantine realizes that Villanelle was sent to kill his friend Charles. But you guys, this is a pretty good episode. This is probably my most favorite episode of the season so far. I wasn't a huge fan of last week's episode. I felt like it was like a filler. And even with the season premiere, it didn't get good until the last 5 minutes when, you know, Kenny basically got thrown off of, you know, the top of the building. But this is what I signed up for. And then to see that kiss between them, I was like, you better kiss your girl, boo. But you're supposed to be asking for consent because I don't think she wanted you kissing her. But I'm interested to see how this is going to go. Are they going to cross paths again next week's episode? How long is she going to be in London? What is this going to look like with Constantine helping her look for her family? Do you think her family is going to be like this nice, totally like opposite of what Villanelle is? I don't know, but I'm very interested to find out. But those are pretty much my thoughts on Killing Eve, Season 3, Episode 3. Meetings with biscuits. Meetings come with biscuits. I forgot already, y'all. But those are my thoughts on the episode. As always, my name is Sharona from Pay Your Weight. If you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.